Hello. Welcome to the Pun Show, I think. Whoops. Hello. Welcome to the Pun Show, I think. I hope somebody's here, or maybe not yet. Maybe someday somebody will come. I'm still trying to figure out all this stuff where things were so easy in StreamYard, but they were also so expensive. So, all right, I've got a couple of people watching now, so I know that something's working. Hey, Brett. I ended up just deciding to go a whole other route, and I paid for something cheaper than StreamYard that hopefully still gets the job done. So I'm using Restream now, which at least it makes it so that a idiot like me can figure out what's going on. So and I'm glad to see you're there. So I'm not talking to myself. Hopefully, eventually, we'll have some more people join us. Anywho, I'm going to get through this video today if it's the last thing I do, which it actually might be the last thing I do today. So, yeah, it's a crazy day and I had a whole show set up, and I still, So first of all, I hope Randy Rainbow or Rainbow Kitty comes by today because I really feel bad for her with the Supreme Court decision. Apparently, torturing children is legal in America again. You can't outlaw torturing children for being gay or trans. Oh, no way. So, okay, hang on. You'll appreciate this. Look what I can do again, Brett. I can display comments. Cutter told Trump they want their jet back. Is this for real? Let me I gotta. This is hilarious. Okay, no, that's a story circulating on X, but apparently it's not true, according to Grok. There are no credible news reports, official statements from Qatar or U.S. government, and confirmations. So anyway, they should. But yeah, there's a lot going on today. And well, just since the last time I was on here, the comment displayed or at the bottom behind the chat. I don't know what you mean by behind the chat. Anyway, oh, it depends on maybe how it shows up on the phone or something. I don't have any control over where it displays here, I don't think. Let me. Yeah, no, that makes a difference. I think I actually like that view better. So, General Munchkin, how you doing? Good to see you. Nice to be back after sort of a weird hiatus. So it turns out the Cutter jet is not true. The vertical stream chat is superimposed over your face, and behind the chat is highlighted comments. Is it better with this view? I changed the view. Not that covering up my face is going to be the worst thing in the world. The Daily Mail released photos of Christy Noem's husband, Byron Noem, dressed in giant fake what are bubes and skin tight pink shorts. MAGA family hypocrisy. Good old MAGA family hypocrisy. Can never get enough of it. Oh, the chat is over the top of them. They used to be at the top. Yeah, that was from the other. Well, that's kind of stupid if that's the way it works. I can't change them though, because it's set by It's established by Restream. Don't think I have any. Don't think I can change it. Anyway, so you guys like this better or this better? Or that? I guess that and that look the same. No. It's been a very weird day, General. Where I just got started, and I'm just trying to figure out how to set this whole thing up. So don't worry, it'll hopefully pick up. So anyway, what do we want to talk about today? Well, we want to talk about the war. Too close, I can. Okay, you know what? Let's go with this one. You don't need to count my pores. That would suck. Nobody wants to count my pores. That job is pores. How about we can try this? How does that work, Brett? Then what happens if I think Grok may be lying, hallucinating about 3-jet. Too close, I can. Okay, the jet. All right, so. All right. So anyway, what I wanted to talk about is that the economy has been steadily being destroyed by Donald Trump. I don't know if you've noticed this, but it's really bad. The economy is really, really bad thanks to Donald Trump on so many levels. It's just terrible. So because of that, yeah, we don't even know what constitutes a win. And here's the thing: if you don't know what is going to constitute a win, how do you know what constitutes a loss? How can you win a war when you haven't established what winning means? Now he's talking about just pulling out and abandoning the Straits of Hormuz for the entire world, as though we're not the reason that it's not safe right now. Like, Donald Trump started a war. He got all upset because Europe didn't declare war on Iran with him, as though it's Iran's job or the rest of the world's job to follow whatever whimsical fancy he has that day. I don't think we're going to do that. It's hello, Brett, from my... Ooh. No. Okay. Okay, I don't know how to... I can't figure out how to move that. Sorry, Brett. So they keep changing objectives. They've never had any. It's what they said 5 minutes ago has no bearing on what they're saying right now. I'm 99% sure Trump wants to keep the U.S. tradition of sending freedom to the Middle East for his own amusement. I'm moving tomorrow. It's going to be a moving experience. I thought liberals were being panicked and speaking in hyperbole when they said Don will ruin this country. But it was all real. It's getting really hard to deny it. How much, like, paying for gas is getting people, but it's been a long time coming. And it started with mass deportations, and then it started going into the tariffs, and then you've got the austerity cuts, and now you've got the war on top of it all. And that's actually what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. And so what I did, I'm going to try something a little different. Instead of doing a slideshow, I made 4 little tiny explainer videos that are, like between 1 and 3 minutes. And each of these would be a nice platform to talk about that. And okay, oh, whoops, and I've got to get my battery here. It's hard to read the chat. There's another chat behind it. Yeah, I don't know how to change that. That's the problem. Hang on 1 second. So I get what you're saying, that the chats hard to read where it's at, but here. Yeah, I can't. Doesn't seem like there's no way to move where that chat shows up, Brett. Jesus loves you and die. Oh, this guy again. Every country right now. Trump said 12 times that the war was over, 17 times that Iran had been destroyed, 18 times we have won. He danced 10 times and dozed off 11 times. And yet, we still can't move oil through the Straits of Hormuz. Okay. All right. So, wanted to talk more about the economy. And so, don't want to show my pores there. Every country hates me right now. It's all personal. It's all about Donald Trump. So, all right, let me try this. We're going to first, I'm going to show this video.
Let's talk about mass deportations and what they actually do to the economy. Because most people think about this in terms of jobs, but the data shows it's bigger than that. Undocumented immigrants make up about 4 to 5% of the U.S. workforce. But in certain industries, it's much higher. In agriculture, estimates suggest roughly 40% of workers are undocumented. In construction, it's closer to 15%. So when you remove a large number of workers from those sectors, you don't just reduce employment. You reduce output. Crops don't get harvested. Projects get delayed. That's the first impact. But here's the second, and this is where the data gets interesting. Immigrant households, including undocumented ones, contribute hundreds of billions of dollars in consumer spending each year. That's rent, groceries, transportation, local businesses. So when people are removed from the economy, that demand disappears too, and that's why economic models, including work from the Penn-Wharton budget model, consistently find that large-scale deportations lead to lower GDP, lower tax revenue, and a smaller overall economy. So this isn't just about labor, it's about removing both workers and consumers at the same time, and that's a double hit.
Okay, so that's the first video, and I think we can develop that a bit more as I go along. But what do you think? Like, I think that there are some realities to this whole thing. For every what is it? I think it's for every 500,000 people that are deported, 44,000 um, American jobs are lost. Not just the jobs from the people that were deported, but it actually causes more unemployment, not less. You would think, oh, look, all these people are being deported, all these jobs are opened up. But the jobs aren't getting opened up by deportations. Actually, more people are unemployed, not less, not fewer. And that's pretty significant. Now, why is that? Why are fewer people being employed? And that's because, as the video said, immigrants also spend money. They also rent houses. They also buy hot dogs or, tacos or whatever. They go out and they buy food. They spend money. They go to the movies. They buy TV sets. They spend all kinds of money just like we do. And that consumer spending of 10 million people or whatever it is doesn't just go away without feeling the consequences of it. So, like General Munchkin says, all these jobs are being opened up, and these people are too stupid to actually get those jobs. So, yeah. Oops. Pop that up there. Even though Brett can't see it right. I wish I knew how to handle that, Brett, but I'll see if I can figure it out during the next off session. But yeah, that's the first issue. Oh yeah, he doesn't want to see my pores. All right, so there is a chair behind me. That is the one I am sitting in. Thank you for that warning, Ashton. Wow, where'd that come from? All right. Maybe I'll have to figure out a better background than this. I don't know. It would be better if I were standing up and like telling jokes into the microphone, but Trump diverted 2 H-64 Apache attack helicopter. Oh yeah, did you see that? Like, what was the point of that? Like, zero reason for that. And how much tax money did we have to spend on sending two Apache helicopters to Kid Rock's house? Like, what a joke. So anyway, the back to the immigrants. We're deporting people, and that has the two impacts. That means all the stuff they do are not getting done, and so then that means that the availability of those things goes down. Like the strawberries that they picked, there are just fewer strawberries, and when there's fewer strawberries and the same supply for strawberries, then that means you have the price of strawberries going up. So you have this inflationary aspect of deportations. Number two, you have the unemployment going up because of deportations. And number three, you have actually the GDP goes down because those people are no longer doing the work to sell things. So all three of those things get impacted by mass deportations. We've been programmed to believe that all these illegal immigrants were bad for the country. But if you look at the economics of it, all these illegal immigrants are good for the country. We just need to figure out how to make them not illegal anymore. Because all the stuff that's bad, like the way that they affect low wage workers and stuff like that, all of that's because they're illegal. You could change the way you can change their legal status and still have everything good, and then actually have some other things better, because then they would be treated better, and our local workers, our domestic workers, would be treated better. The stream started like 15 minutes ago. It'll gain traction soon, hopefully. It's been bopping around 9 or 10. But anyway, hopefully tomorrow I can get started on time, and have a better thing. But I've been trying to figure out how to do all this stuff without StreamYard. StreamYard was good, but it was so expensive. It was like $80 a month. These jobs will be filled and you will save money not locking them up. Well, the jobs won't be filled. I mean, that's just, they won't be, because first of all, one thing that people dismiss or like don't think about is the unemployed people have to be in the same area as the job. Like, you can't, if you're living in New York City, you're not going to go and take a strawberry picking job in California, in rural California, or California at all, for that matter. The places where the job openings are and the place where unemployed people are not necessarily the same thing, and not every unemployed person can do every job. And here's the most important, Robert. This is the most important thing that you're going to hear about all this. There are actually more people, there are more employed illegal immigrants than there are unemployed Americans or jobless Americans. There aren't enough Americans to fill the jobs that they do. And not every jobless American is sitting there looking to go pick strawberries either, for that matter. So, like, seriously, if you want to have serious discussions, be a serious person and actually think about what you're saying. Munchkin says, oh, okay, I saw the Kid Rock thing, and that's weird. What was the purpose? I guess just to show, Donald Trump just wanted to show him they were buddies or something. They're currently toying with cutting Medicaid again to pay for that $200 billion bump for Iran. Meanwhile, Trump's yearly taxpayer paid golf trips cost over $100 million and growing daily. It's like, why do we need to deprive our own children of health care and then funnel that money to killing Iranian children? I still don't see the need for this war. It's still never been explained. Not just the purpose, like Brett was saying, but why are we at war in the first place? What is even the point of this stupid thing? Yeah, he saluted the stupid planes. It's being investigated. I'm sure it will be stonewalled. Of course it is. They really don't care about, taxpayer money when he's doing these shenanigans, like by flying his little his toy helicopters everywhere. But we gotta cut healthcare from how many people to pay for a $200 billion war that was never voted for. Believe me, they're not shopping legal workers. I don't even know what that means, Robert. It's not even real English. But they're not shopping legal workers. Stopping. Oh, believe me. They're not. But they are not? Who's not? Shops. I have no idea what you're trying to say with all that. Um, Nobody's saying that legal workers are being stopped by anything. Um, he wants to be known as a global menace to society. Um, Trying to figure out what this means. I am, believe me, they're not stopping legal workers. I do not know what that means. I really don't. Can you rephrase it? Let's all be like Trump and stop the YouTube chat and talk about pens, Sharpies, paper clips, and curtains for 10 minutes if we have time. Let's talk marble arches. Just everything except he's so bored with the war. He's bored with the war. He had to have a good thing to start with, and now he just got bored with it. There's only so many videos of things blowing up he could see before he stopped being entertained. So, all right. So let's go on to the next video. The next thing is his tariffs.
Let's take a closer look at tariffs, and more importantly, who actually pays for them. Because the way tariffs are usually described is simple. We tax foreign goods, so foreign countries pay the price. But that's not what the data shows. In reality, tariffs are mostly paid by Americans. Here's how that works. When a tariff is placed on an imported good, the company bringing that good into the country has to pay the tax. But that company doesn't just absorb the cost. They pass it along, either to businesses or directly to consumers. This is what economists call the pass-through rate, and it simply means how much of the cost of a tariff gets passed on in higher prices. A pass-through rate of 100% means the full cost shows up in prices. And studies of recent U.S. tariffs have found something important. The pass-through rate was very high, close to 100%. In other words, American businesses and consumers paid almost the entire cost, not foreign producers. Now let's put some numbers on that. Estimates vary depending on the study, but several analyses found that tariffs imposed in recent years cost the average American household somewhere between $500 and $1,300 per year. That's not a one-time cost, that's ongoing. And it shows up in everyday prices, appliances, tools, construction materials, consumer goods. But here's the part that really matters. About half of U.S. imports aren't finished products. They're inputs, raw materials, parts, machinery. That means tariffs don't just raise the price of what you buy. They raise the cost of making things in the first place. So now businesses are dealing with higher costs across their entire operation. And again, they have to make a choice: raise prices or cut costs. Raise prices and demand falls. Cut costs and hiring slows. And then there's the global response. When the U.S. imposes tariffs, other countries often retaliate, which means American exports get hit too, especially in sectors like agriculture and manufacturing. So now you've got pressure from both directions, higher costs coming in and lower demand going out. And that's why tariffs don't behave the way people expect. They're not just a tax on foreign goods. They're a tax on the entire supply chain. And in a modern economy, that tax doesn't stay contained. It spreads through prices, through production, through jobs. And that's why economists often describe tariffs not as a growth policy, but as a cost shock to the system.
So, hang on. So, Munchkin says, so you're saying that we pay the tariffs and not the countries that actually have to pay them. You know, You that is a conclusion that one can come to. Um, that is how tariffs work. That's what they're designed to do. That's how they have always worked, unless you got to the Donald Trump wing of the school at Wharton, which is apparently the only place they teach that. Not even the rest of Wharton. We need to produce more products here in the U.S. Do we though? I mean, this is I see this kind of thing bandied about a lot, but what I never see is any logical follow on onto why that is true. When you've already got a society that's basically at full employment and where there are jobs that there are shortages in many labor areas, and you're also deporting millions of people, um, including people in manufacturing. And so you've got, like, I think we lost actually over 100,000 manufacturing jobs last year, partly due to tariffs. Um, I'm not sure why we need to produce more stuff. Like, manufacturing jobs are not the best jobs in the world. We had better jobs. I don't understand why some people think we need to produce more products here in the US. And then, as Brett points out, that will take about 25 to 30 years. And we still don't have the rare earth minerals in America like they do in China. You have to, I mean, I think we actually do have them somewhere, like, but we're not mining for them the way China is. And that's just like for certain things, like the batteries and stuff like that. There's all kinds of things we don't need to produce here, and there's some things we can't grow here, like bananas. Like, what is the point of putting tariffs on bananas or coffee or pineapple, or things that either we can't grow at all or just grow very sparsely? Why can't we just import those things without tariffs? We're not going to produce them. We don't need to produce them. I don't see the point in the massive tariffs. They're counterproductive. All they do is jack up the prices. I would like us to see. I would like on this point though. I would like us to see, us do more to get our own rare earth minerals. Bro, I heard that Trump is implementing tariffs on his NATO allies later this year because they hurt his puny feelings about Greenland. Oh, is he gonna do some more tariff stuff? He is just a terrible president. I think he's all mad at them because they didn't come and jump to his aid in his fake war either. Yeah, we do. We're already in the top 5 countries for exporting goods. Yeah. We export a lot of stuff. I mean, not everything anyway. I don't know why I don't know why they have to be so dumb about everything. But they do. They just have to be dumb. They have to think of the dumbest possible thing to say and then figure out a way to be even dumber about it. But anyway. Okay, order something overseas, see how much you have to pay when USPS or UPS or any other delivery service tries to bring it to your door. You'll get a tariff bill. And you're also talking about getting the shipping rates going up now too because of the war. I ordered a 3-phase brushless motor from China. It was only $300. It cost me double to get it in my hands. UPS charged me the tariff. Which, I mean, I guess that makes sense. Somebody's got to pay it. UPS isn't going to pay it. United States of Israel? Okay. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Israel, but I'm also not a big fan of anti-Semitism. So let's be careful on that. But when you take this combination of mass deportations and tariffs, then you have some things that make each other worse, right? Like any food. So, for instance, foods that we could just because we don't have the domestic supply we need because we don't have uh, the undocumented immigrants to pick the strawberries. The number of strawberries left goes down, so we need to import more strawberries. But now the imported strawberries are also more expensive because of tariffs. So you're starting to see, and now we're starting to really feel the impact of inflation. They've done some stuff to try to hide it, but I think I think it's expected to be up a full percentage point for the month of March, and then it could go up a whole other percentage point in April. But they'll figure out a way to blame it on Biden, I'm sure. Oh yeah, thanks for unintentionally reminding me. So many people say Israel isn't a country because of their war with Iran, but I'm typing the other message. Oh, bye. I do think I'll wait until you're done with your message. Trump pansies still behind penguin tariffs. Yes, those stupid penguins sitting there just think, what do they think they can get away with everything? Ignoring Israel's resistance is basically saying I'm ignoring the war and genocide going on there because of a grudge. Like, be bleeping for real. So this is two wrongs don't make a right kind of thing. I agree that the nation of Israel and the current government of Israel are committing genocide. I was really reluctant to use the word genocide with Israel for obvious reasons. But at a certain point, you can't deny it anymore. I was saying, well, if they're trying to genocide the Palestinians, what about the West Bank? What about Lebanon? Why aren't they going after them there? Well, now they are, and so now it's pretty much impossible to deny. Between Iran, Gaza, Lebanon, all of that, Israel has forced about 5 million people out of their homes. At a certain point, it's just genocide. There's no other word for it, and that is evil. Now, that said, I have Jewish family. I have Jewish friends that do not support what Israel is doing, and so and like the nation of Israel does not exist just in this vacuum. And sadly, there is a history there too, but I don't know. I mean, like the existence of Israel doesn't depend on invading and killing Palestinian people. So I think there should be a two-state solution, and I do agree that we spend way too much money on Israel and maybe need to start considering the possibility that our unconditional support of Israel is bad. Is it possible the tariffs were planned out between Trump and corporations, as they knew the Supreme Court would order the corporations be reimbursed? I don't think it's planned out, but I think the corporations, there's kind of a triple whammy here. The first thing is the big corporations that had a lot of money were able to front load a lot of the stuff that was going to be tariffed. And so they did not have to pay the tariffs on those products because they just imported a whole bunch right before, which is actually why we had that one quarter where GDP went down because the net exports were actually all messed up by the massive front loading, importing of all these goods to offset the tariffs. But the smaller companies couldn't do that. They didn't have the capital to front load and store everything. So then prices went up because of tariffs. The corporations don't care that they didn't have to pay more. They still raised their prices as though they had been tariffed. The smaller companies had to raise their prices too to make money back just to break even. Now the small companies aren't going to get, reimbursed. The large companies are going to get reimbursed first. So yeah, the tariffs are definitely helping the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, which seems to be the one consistency with every single one of Trump's policies. Oh, wait, no, that's the flag of Palestine. Trust in the Lord. But yeah, a certain extent, it's Iran too. Mega hypocrisy voting for a 34-time felon and simultaneously saying who's illegal based on skin color exposes wild AF racist mental illness. I've never understood. Like this, that word illegal as a noun just irritates me. People aren't illegal. I'm sorry, but I can't support a nation whose beliefs are killing people for not believing in Allah. Well, what about a nation whose beliefs are killing people because they're not believing in God? I mean, as well as using manipulation and secrecy to gain power. Okay, all you do is just change the word Gala to God here, and you've just defined the Republican wing of America. So, seems like your problem is that it's not Republican enough, not that it's not whatever. And I agree that nobody should be killing anybody in God's name. And I also agree that anybody that's killing anybody in God's name is not actually doing it for God. All the people I've ever heard talk about God told them to do this or that, never once has God told them to do anything. Brett is saying this stuff I don't have the balls to. Yeah, Brett has never been shy with his thoughts. Also, Iran chanting. Okay, but you're sitting there cheering on the killing of Iranians. Don't you feel a bit hypocritical? That is certainly this is the thing you need to understand there, Mr. Radical Coyote. You need to understand this. If you want to make that case, then go to war to that. Like Iran is saying death to Iran or death to America. Like there's people in Iran chanting death to America. Therefore, we should go to war with Iran. Go ahead, take that to Congress and say, I want to go to war with Iran because these people were chanting mean things, and see what happens. Why didn't we have a debate in Congress? Why didn't we have a national debate about that? You want to have a national debate about it? Let's go have a national debate about it. But don't sit there and act like that is a post hoc justification for Donald Trump's war, because we never had that conversation. We never had that conversation because we wouldn't be at war with Iran right now if that were the only reason. Or if that were the case, if that we actually debated it first. I'm sorry. People said mean things is not a good enough reason to go and kill a bunch of people. There's over 3,000 Iranians dead. That's exactly what Muslim nations are doing. I see the United States has bombed more cities than the entire Arab world combined. Compounded with saying the war is on, the war is off, depending on the time of day. Yeah, I don't know how many times has he changed his mind. And since this stream started, it's been 46 minutes, so probably 3 more times. Hey, winner, in God's name, whatever that God's name is. It's like, I've studied a lot of history. I've read a lot of history books, and all kinds of religions killed. That goes back to the Romans, where they would kill each other over which god they worshipped, and now it's the same. You've got this guy sitting there complaining that Muslims are killing people and shouting death to America, but you have Pete Hegseth calling it a religious war. You want to know somebody that's making this an apocryphal religious event? How about the Secretary of War? Trump is your daddy? Okay. Does your mommy know? I'm just saying I don't support you don't know what their beliefs are. I'm just saying that I don't support their beliefs, and we should defend ourselves because we've already had attacks from people with their beliefs. They've had attacks from people with your beliefs, and they didn't attack us. We weren't defending ourselves. We were murdering children in a school that did nothing wrong. Their beliefs, we don't even know what they weren't even formed yet. And 150 girls are dead. I'm just saying that you are an Islamophobic bigot who doesn't know what you're talking about, and you don't seem to have much concern about whether or not anything you're saying is based on truth or reality. I'm saying read a book. Also, the people stupid enough to say Trump 2028 probably can't even spot Iran on a map. It's not Trump's war. Your government was the one to fund it. No, the government never voted to fund it. I don't have any idea what you're talking about. I'm not lying about anything. You just seem to be very, very badly informed. That one annoys me so much. Have you not seen the attempted bombing? Trump is my daddy-o. NATO attacked Iran. It has nothing. NATO did not attack Iran. I don't need, what are you're a weird person, E3K. E3K. I don't even know what you're talking about. NATO did not attack Iran. We and Israel attacked Iran. NATO didn't. Trump's mad at NATO for not attacking Iran. It's certainly not going to swing anyone to their side. My parents sure as hell did not vote for this fascist orange guy. I didn't vote for him. Yes, it is, EK. It is. Well, it's an attack by Israel and the U.S. NATO is not doing it. I never said the United States. I said Christians. Yeah. Well, the Christians that are attacking Iran right now are from America. Trump is a mask for NATO for money. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. There's a MAGA guy here. Why MAGA always uses homoerotic power art of Trump? Just admitting it. Creating ironic art of the male form show they refuse to admit it's sexual. I call this I call this sicko fantasy. They're sycophants, and they have this fantasy version of Trump, where he's like this big, muscular war hero guy, and they're sycophants. And so I just like it's a, what is it called? A totem or whatever. Forget the word, but where you take two words and you make one word, we call it sycophantasy. They're sycophants for their fantasy of Trump. But this guy constantly going on about Trump and Israel, these are just all right. I don't have any idea what you're. All right. They've made it very clear that the beliefs are, I don't support them. Who is they? Who is they? Who is they? If you feel like Iran's version, that Iran wanted to kill America, and that was a reason to go to war with them, then have that debate in Congress and declare war before we attack them. I don't care that you think that they're bad. I really don't. And if Donald Trump had gone and said they're a bunch of meanies and we need to go to war with them, and then Congress had decided to declare war on Iran for being meanies, then I would say go bomb the crap out of them. Do whatever you want. That is a legal war at that point, at least by American standards. But he didn't do that. So I really don't care what you believe about Iran. I doubt you have ever read a history book. I doubt that you have the foggiest notion of what Muslims actually believe. I doubt that you have any actual understanding of anything at all to do with this. But that's all irrelevant. Your actual ignorance is not relevant here. What's relevant is the Constitution of the United States says that Congress declares war. You don't get to declare war and then say, well, they were meanies. Oh, man. I have. Yes, he does. I've talked to him before, and he even commented on one of my videos. I have who commented on one of your videos? Oh, Donald Trump did not comment on one of your videos. You're a loon, man. I'm sorry, but you're making 0 sense. Okay. I don't know who's. Trump wanted Poland to pull Patriot batteries off from Russia for Iran, leaving NATO Europe exposed. Wow. I didn't know that. Tells the cat that NATO does not support. I don't know where that cat dude is coming up with his information, but okay, NATO members were not asked, they were informed. If they were asked, they would advise against the attack. Yeah, they are not happy. I mean, Donald Trump is mad at NATO for not participating enough. And he's talking about Article 5. And again, I've mentioned this before. Article 5, to be clear, Article 5 is if an attack on one is an attack on all. It is not an attack by one, is an attack by all. Other nations are not obligated to join in our wars when we decide to start them. You got doctors' hands just like Trump. I do. Mine are big. Well, bigger than his anyway. Chuck. NATO doesn't help anything anyways. Bunch of Trumpy bear huggers. I remember the Trumpy bear. I forgot about Trumpy bear. Let's give NATO money to God's chosen in Israel. Okay. Think they've got enough money to kill people with. Europe are leeches. Oh, good comment. Yeah, really makes absolutely no sense at all. How you, Harry? How you doing? Good to see you again. Sorry for my unintended vacation. Poland refused Patriot missile transfer. I don't know what I'm gonna have to look into what you're talking about there, Brett. They run in the family. I got them from my daddy, whatever. Trump, we need NATO's help. Trump, we don't need your help. Yeah, they're not exactly. Asking Trump to be logically consistent with Donald Trump is a big ask. Don't listen to a word this dude is saying. He has no clue what he's talking about. And he has a freaking shoe size IQ. Okay. This is what is this guy? This is the coyote dude. Anyway, I'm sorry I upset you, radical coyote. You're the guy that insists that NATO is behind the current war with Iran. So I'm sorry, I don't know what I'm talking about, but I do know that that is not true. Okay. You have the IQ of a peanut by that logic. I honestly, anybody, I'm not going to say what my IQ is or anything, but I will just say this. Anybody that thinks IQs matter is not very intelligent. IQ is just such a dated, stupid thing. Don't waste your time on this Trump obsessed nitwit. He will say that. All right. I think if American military fails in Iran, blame the Western for voting. The orange taco. Epstein and West. I have no idea what all that means. I think if the American, I mean, we're not defending Trump. We're just like, oh, wait. So you're not so Coyote's not the NATO guy. This guy is the NATO guy, Cat. Anyway. So wait, let me see here. What does Coyote say? Oh, is Coyote's the guy that thinks it's okay to kill Iran because they're a bunch of Muslims. Because at some point in time, some people chanted death to America. It's the division of while our country's at war, airports a mess, DHS not funded, and elections threatened. Lindsey Graham is wandering around Disney World with a pink bubble wand, out of touch, old queen. I don't make fun of Lindsey Graham's closeted homosexuality just because I don't make fun of homosexuals, whether they're in the closet or out of it. It's the division of labor, NATO, and Europe is going to continue the war with Russia and Ukraine. There, I don't know what that has to do with anything. Nothing wrong with Lindsay being queen, but he's there. Thank you, but he's in such denial. It makes him a hypocrite. It's hypocrisy I have issues with. You know what bothers me? MAGA has no problem with high gas prices. Yeah, well, some of them have. I mean, some of them have. All right, so here I'm going to go to the next video here. There's actually 4 things that are just messing up our economy. The next one is austerity.
Let's talk about austerity and two ideas that explain why it can make recessions worse: multipliers and stabilizers. Don't worry, these sound complicated, but they're actually pretty simple. Start with multipliers. A multiplier is what happens when $1 of spending turns into more than $1 of economic activity. For example, if the government spends money to build a road, that pays workers. Those workers go out and spend money at local businesses. Those businesses pay their employees, and so on. So that original dollar keeps moving through the economy. That's the multiplier effect. Now flip that around. If you cut spending, you don't just lose that $1. You lose all the activity that would have come from it. That's why cuts can hit harder than people expect. Now let's talk about stabilizers. Stabilizers are things built into the system that automatically help the economy during a downturn. Things like unemployment benefits, food assistance, Medicaid. When the economy slows and people lose income, these programs kick in. They help people keep spending money, which helps keep businesses alive. That's why they're called automatic stabilizers. They stabilize the system without anyone needing to pass a new law. Now here's where austerity comes in. Austerity means cutting spending, including, often, these stabilizers. So what happens if you go into a recession? You've already reduced the spending that would have supported the economy, and you've weakened the systems that help cushion the fall. So instead of softening the downturn, you amplify it. Less income, less spending, more business closures, and a slower recovery. That's the key point. Austerity doesn't just shrink government. It removes the very mechanisms that help the economy bounce back, which makes recessions harder to escape and recoveries slower when they finally come.
So that brings us to the next thing. So we've got the mass deportations, we've got the tariffs, and those two things are already causing a recession. Now, on top of that, this year we're going to start having our austerity cuts, which those cuts are to the stabilizers, which are literally there in case we have a recession. They are there to soften the blows of a recession. So it's not just that. It's going to be worse. It's going to be made worse. A recession made worse by the GOP policy, by Donald Trump's policies. And that's not even counting. Wait until the Medicaid cuts go through. And we start having to shut down hospitals. Because when you shut down the hospitals, that's usually two things. That in a rural area, that is the largest employer and the largest consumer in a lot of small towns. So when you shut those down, you're also basically shutting down the entire town. So a whole bunch of, like, rural America is about to really get bitch slapped, for lack of a better word. You voted for a 34-time felon. You lost your credibility to say what's illegal. That's a fair point. 34 charges dismissed. They were not dismissed. None of the charges were dismissed. No charges were dismissed. Stop spreading misinformation. Trump won the election. He is your king. Cope harder. What do I need to cope with? Like, why is it like when, like they do this thing where Trump won, get over it. What, like you did with Joe Biden? Like we didn't, the GOP, you can honestly say they did not sit around and just cope with Joe Biden beating Trump in the election. Brett says he was convicted, and he was. Trump pooted when I was next to him, and it smelled like flowers. My daddy is awesome. And so, yeah, there's some people that sat behind him in a courtroom that heard it smelled his booties and did not love the smell of his booty. Wasn't the entire purpose of the USA to be against kings as leaders? Yes, it was. Chuck's done, so I guess. Uh, Thank you, Brett, for having common sense. I don't think we're going to be. I think that Chuck may have been removed by Brett. Trump was not acquitted on all counts. Like, that's just not true. He wasn't acquitted on anything. Like, do you honestly believe that, Brute? You call yourselves brutal facts, and then you sit there and you just say things that are completely false. He was never acquitted at all on any charges. The charges he was convicted of, he's still convicted of. There were 3 other cases that were set aside for now, but without what do they call that? Without anyway, they can pick the cases up again after he's not president anymore. No, he still broke the law. He still committed those crimes. You're welcome. I don't think Iran is liberated, and neither is Venezuela, for that matter. Democrats have no leadership. And just yelling things into the air there, aren't we, Brute? I never thought about having common sense would be an achievement instead of the bare minimum, but here we are. You're acting as if Republicans have good leadership. I mean, what do you got? You got the man who has illicit affairs with couches, and you've got the man with the drinking problem, like airplane style, missing his face kind of thing. Marco Rubio and his issues with drinking water are pretty funny. Fairly soon, we won't be able to have MRIs in America because there's no helium coming from the LNG that was destroyed. Yeah. No, it's not. It's not. That's a statement. You made a statement, completely unqualified, zero justification to it, and you're just going to run around saying stupid things. Don't be a stupid person, Brutal. Don't be a stupid person. You don't have to be. You can choose to not be stupid. Stupid is a choice. And just yelling ignorance is stupid. We are a threat to the Middle East. We're the ones currently bombing the crap out of Iran. We're the ones that killed 3,000 Iranian civilians. We're the ones that have attacked more countries, carried out more wars than any nation in the world since World War II. We're the ones that have had conflict after conflict after conflict after conflict. Not Iran. Iran's only, if we were not in Iran, if we weren't in the Middle East, Iran would not care about us. And I'm not saying that we should pull out of the Middle East or whatever. I'm just saying Iran doesn't really hate our way of life. They hate our way of interfering with their way of life. And yes, they're religious extremists, and they are, just like we have religious extremists. Not everybody in Iran is a religious extremist. But when you have the Secretary of War calling this a religious war, then we're losing our right to talk about them being the extremists. We're extremists. Okay, Trump, I did not know that Trump is bi. So I'll give you credit for admitting that. Guess who's back, crybaby? If you need a bottle. It's almost like you don't like the taste of your own medicine. I don't know what that means. MAGA has no facts. All they have is trolling, and then they type in caps and spam. Trump 2028 rage. Later that night, they grab their lotion and box of tissues. Incels. Biden would have had 6 holidays by now, then fell over after mumbling incoherently. Like, that would be better than what Trump is doing. And by the way, Biden wouldn't be president right now. Kamala Harris would be. There's no point to explain facts to somebody who will not listen to them. Yeah. When Republicans need to do is cope with the 2020 election because it was not rigged. Yeah. What Republicans need to do is cope with. I've had a better time holding up a conversation with a wall. There's probably a pun in there. I'm Chuck. Okay, bye. Is Trump in jail? No, innocent on all counts. No, he's not in jail, but he's not innocent on all counts either. He was found guilty. He still is the president of the United States of America. Nobody's saying he's not. Wow. Oh, by the way, hi Gary. How you doing? Wow. Imagine being so scummy you have to troll in an alt account. Well, the alt account is gone now too. They call that stupid Democrat logic. Crying. Do you honestly? Hey, Brute. I'm just going to mention this to you one time. Either contribute to the conversation or leave. I don't want to say that you can't like disagree with me or anything, but this kind of nonsense, Democrats logic. No, dude. If you're going to just be in here to troll, then don't be in here. And I otherwise I'll make sure you're not. Imagine being so scummy that you can't hold a conversation with somebody and you assume that they always are trying to troll you. Well, there's people that do troll, Dream. There are people who troll. And there are people that try to have an honest conversation. But you can't have an honest conversation with somebody that's trolling. Rich people serve different time. Poverty is the opposite of justice. MAGA is stupid. Like that. Poverty is the opposite of justice. I'm scummy. Iranians and Venezuelan dance. Do they, though? I remember when Iraq danced in the streets. Imagine being such an idiot that you don't realize that Trump is a horrible president and this guy supports him and calls him his daddy. I think Dream is about. Well, Biden can ride a bike and walk and talk and stand. I don't know if I doubt Donald Trump can ride a bike. No, disagreeing with the fact is not misinformation. Spewing misinformation is misinformation. Kamala would be president right now if she had won the election. I don't understand what's stupid about that. Kamala Harris was the Democrat on the ticket in 2024, not Joe Biden. Just looking through. America didn't murder 40,000. What? No, they did murder a couple, but anyway, anyway. I'm getting tired of you, Brutal. I think we might have to just get rid of you. Um, if you feel like Iran murdering your made up numbers of people last month was sufficient to start a war, then Donald Trump should have gone to Congress and said, they're murdering their own citizens. We need to go and declare war on them. And then it would be fine. You keep trying to come up with post hoc justifications for the fact that Donald Trump went to war unnecessarily. And if there were an actual threat to the United States, Donald Trump had the full ground to do whatever he wanted to do. But he didn't, because they weren't. They were not an imminent threat. And that's all that matters. You can sit there and you can talk about Iran hates us, and Iran said, death to America, and Iran, they killed their own citizens and whatever. They weren't a threat. And you said this from where? Why isn't Barron Trump supporting Donald Trump's war? Trump has great hair. I wouldn't doubt that you have no idea what these comments mean. They are 5 minutes old. Okay. The past 4 presidents have all bombed Islamic countries. Coke snorting drunkard. Yeah. Bro got dimed out for drug messaging. I shadow banned him. I don't think I've ever once called him daddy. Where's all the pro-Trump parades other than the one he paid for with your tax dollars? That's a good question. I'm pretty sure there were a few people that showed up to protest this weekend, which I never got to talk about. Did anybody go to any of the No Kings rallies? I thought that was... I wasn't able to go. But I'm 8 million people. I was joking. This is my favorite joke about all of that. I'm actually, because they keep trying to say that all of these protesters were just paid by George Soros or whatever. So my joke is, why isn't Donald Trump taking credit for creating 8 million jobs? It's the only jobs he created, all those paid protesters. Nobody would unironically call Trump daddy unless they're an idiot. I agree. I'm joining ICE while you on BOG. Okay. You go do that. If you join ICE, you are a criminal. But that's the thing. When you disagree with me, you just make up things that I've said instead of arguing. What have you said that's anything at all remotely relevant to anything, Dream? You just spew nonsense. You're not saying any. What have you said that's actually an honest, logical argument? Like, what have you said? You just droll on. If I may ask, what of your messages did I supposedly distort in my own favor? Wouldn't it still be against international law, even with approval? Well, but MAGA apparently doesn't care what international laws say. But according to U.S. law, you know, I mean, yeah, I agree we should follow international law, like, but even talking to MAGAs, you'd think that they at least would think that we should follow the Constitution. Trump is a disaster. That is a true statement. Munchkin Man, I really can't understand what you're trying to say. What are you trying to say, Dream On? I think that uh, and actually, if you're gonna like that, to say that should actually be a period in two sentences. That's a run-on sentence, Dream. If you're gonna be all technical about the grammar, Trump could eat a baby, live on live on TV, and I'm still voting for him next term. Just want to be clear, yeah, third term. Okay, well, you just do what you want to do. I'm sure you can figure it out. This chair is very comfortable. This is my super fancy recliner chair. I finally got to go to a No Kings. There was one only 3 miles from my home. Awesome. People as far as the eye can see. And I think that it's just going to keep getting, more and more and more. I think we're going to get more people at the next one. You said, you make up things that I say. I'm asking what I made up that you supposedly didn't say. Damn, I never got paid. I'll take a check, right? Like, that's funny. Like, a lot of people have told me that they're very upset that they didn't get their Soros money, and they didn't get their tariff money either from Donald Trump. Gary's usually the one taking up the. Gary's at least honest. I'll give Gary. Dream is not. That brings me back to my first point. Any logic and or reasoning given to you will be. Okay, but you haven't given any logic or reasoning, Dream. Like, give me an actual point. How, like, this is just like this is I've noticed this sort of thing that MAGAs like to do is they come on and they just sit there and say, oh, well, you just won't read the things, or you're a liar, or that's not true, and they'll say things that are just vague and abstract, and then they get upset if you don't address their talking point as though there were a point to their talking. Munchkin says you would support a cannibal. How insane. They probably would. I mean, like, these are the same people that were no new wars until we have like new wars, and then they're like trying to justify why we needed new wars. I have to bail in about 30 minutes, finish packing up for my move to my new place. So do you like your new place better? What do you think? I'm gonna try and stop at 2 hours today. So Donald Trump has been convicted of 34 felonies. You can fact check that. He has been. They're in denial about it, but it's true. Is this why we hear so much about American lives lost, to show how bad it is? Because they don't care about other lives. No, that's right. Only American lives count as actual lives around here. That's something I've noticed. Like, they'll talk about 13 soldiers died, or 13 Marines, I guess. I don't know if it's Marines or soldiers, but 13 American servicemen have died. Which is sad, but 3,000 Iranians have died, and a lot of them were children. Over 1 million Palestinians in Lebanon and the West Bank have been displaced. But they don't count because they're not American. You guys must be doing something right because there's still no kings here. Are you talking about like there's Donald Trump is not officially designated a king yet? I don't think like nobody really meant he was literally a king. I think that most intelligent people figured out that no kings is not a literal thing. Any point you haven't made any points to disregard. His last 20 chats have been just crying about being disregarded. Boring. Yeah, I mean, it's like, anyway, this is what they do. Move on. I think we're going to disregard him entirely pretty soon. What points have you given? All you said was, ha ha ha, bad spelling. Okay, you know what? We're not going to deal with that anymore. Don't forget to do your American duty and help Pam Bondi redirect Trump's name, redact Trump's name, redact his name with a Sharpie on his new $100 bills. Yeah, like why does we? It's the entire top floor of a brownstone. Nice. Things are looking up. Get it? Because top floor. Never mind. Guess yeah, it's the start of a new month, so that would make sense. Packing up is the worst. I don't know if you've ever heard it, but now would be a good time if you haven't. Look up George Carlin's stuff. He's got this great routine about like your stuff. And it's like when you're young, you just got like a box of stuff, like when you go to college and you just put all your stuff in a box. And then it's like you go to college and you're there for a few years and you got to move. And now you've got like 3 boxes of stuff or 4 boxes of stuff. And so then you move into an apartment now and you've got like this 2-bedroom apartment or whatever. And then you're like, where am I going to put all my, so you put all your stuff and then you're like, this place is empty. I need more stuff. So you go out and you buy more stuff. And then it's time to move again. Now you got all this stuff and you're like, oh my goodness, all this stuff. You got to move all this stuff. And then you get to your new bigger place and you're like, oh, I need room for more stuff. Anyway, it's hilarious. He's obviously funnier than I am, so his delivery is much better. Well, the stock market was up today at least. How did it end up doing? So the price of gas. But okay, so it ended up going up what? Oh, 1125. But it'll go back down again tomorrow. It's I think everybody's anticipating that the war is going to end. But gas prices are over $4 now. And those aren't going down anytime soon. Oh, I don't know what Dream said. That I've never seen Brett report anything before. So that must have been bad. I think he's blocked now. That bit from Carlin is awesome. It is. He was a funny dude. Cardboard cuts. Okay. Trump isn't building a ballroom. He's building a bail room. Ooh, that's a good one. I still don't understand. I like to joke. Why does someone with such tiny balls need so much ballroom? But all right.
Let's talk about war, not just in terms of geopolitics, but in terms of economics.
Whoops. All right. So here's the next one. And sorry, I started it earlier than I intended.
Let's talk about war, not just in terms of geopolitics, but in terms of economics, because there's a common assumption. War spending boosts the economy. And yes, technically, it does increase spending, but that's only part of the story. Because of something called opportunity cost. Opportunity cost just means if you spend money on one thing, you can't spend that same money on something else. So every dollar spent on war is a dollar not spent somewhere else in the economy. Now let's put some numbers to that. A single Tomahawk missile costs roughly $1 to $2 million. That's one missile. Now compare that to something like SNAP food assistance. That same $1 to $2 million spent on SNAP benefits goes directly to households. And those households spend it immediately on groceries, at local stores, in their communities. That creates a ripple effect through the economy. Economists call this the multiplier effect. And here's the key difference. Military spending tends to have a lower multiplier because it's capital-intensive, specialized, and doesn't circulate as widely. Social spending, like food assistance, tends to have a higher multiplier because the money gets spent quickly and repeatedly. Some estimates suggest that SNAP can generate around $1.50 to $1.80 in economic activity for every dollar spent, meaning it moves through the economy more. So when you think about war spending, it's not just about how much is being spent, it's about what that money could have done instead. That's the opportunity cost, and this is especially important right now. Because military spending is measured in the hundreds of billions of dollars annually. That's a massive amount of resources being directed in one place instead of being distributed throughout the broader economy. So yes, war increases spending, but it doesn't necessarily increase growth in the same way. Because where you spend money matters just as much as how much you spend.
Okay. So, whoops. All right. So we're back. What do you think? It's something I was thinking about. Like, we talk about the cost of the war, but we don't talk about the cost of the war coming out of other things. And so, like with the Medicaid, they're talking about they need to cut Medicaid now. Which I made that video before that happened, but I know a woman who's only getting $24 per month in SNAP because of Trump. And that's the thing, is it's like people act like everybody that gets SNAP benefits is getting like the most. In Texas, you don't really get, I mean, it's, and you're just talking about feeding children. Some adults, but they're just so twisted. MAGA will call her a parasite, but Trump can golf at $100 billion this year. And he's made like billions, or 100 million, I think you meant. No, 100 million, you said that. Did you know, if you take, this is a fun fact, you will appreciate this. If you take the amount of money that Donald Trump has made golfing, and where we don't understand, he's golfing at his own courses. And a lot of that money that is being spent on his golfing is being spent at his clubs. Like the agents that are protecting him, the Secret Service agents, are being housed at his golf club, and they're being housed at they're not even getting a discounted rate or anything. So he actually gets paid when he goes golfing. He's actually making money off of golfing. He makes more money off of golfing than he does off of being president, which makes the whole, he donates his salary. His salary is a pittance compared to what he makes golfing. In fact, did you know that this is, if you take the amount of money that has been paid to his golf courses when he goes golfing, He has actually made more money than any professional golfer in the history of the world, including Tiger Woods. MAGA will call her a parasite, but Trump can get $100 million this year. So, yeah. And that, I mean, like, he makes more money golfing than Tiger Woods did in his whole career. He's not that good. I wonder if he cheats. But do you know, you know who, you know the movie Caddyshack? And what was that guy's name? The Spalding. That's who I'm thinking of. The in Caddyshack, Spalding. You'll get nothing and like it. Spalding reminds me of Donald Trump Jr. Well, Donald Trump Jr. reminds me of Spalding, I guess. MAGA only focus on his donated salary, nothing more. Have you ever seen, there's a TV show called Hustle, which is like about these con artists that become good guys and they like con bad people out of their money to give it to good people. Kind of like a little bit like Leverage is, but it's not quite the same thing. And it's a UK show. So they had this this show called Hustle, and then but they always explain that like a big part of the theme of it is every hustle, every kind starts with you have to commit a little bit of your own money. Like people believe you when you put your own money in, so they would always put in like a small amount of money to prove that they were really investing in it and they really trusted it. And then that would get the mark to contribute their own money. And then they would escalate the stakes. But Donald Trump, that's part of this con. The whole, he donates the $400,000 to charity. It's just part of the con. It's to get people to convince that he's not a con artist. It's part of the con. On the one hand, yes, it could have gone to good causes, but it would never gone to good causes anyway. They would find something else. Oh yeah, the GOP would for sure. Otherwise they would just give it in tax breaks. Ted Knight. That's like the Mary Tyler Moore guy, isn't it? I'm not sure what. Oh, he was in Caddyshack, wasn't he? Oh, I'm sorry. That's it. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. The judge, but the nephew was the guy that was Spalding. The guy that reminds me of Judge Smalls, I think his name was. They always find something to waste money on. That's what the government is for, right? Judge Smalls, yeah. But the remember like when they're going to get the snacks, or you know, like he's got his little nephew with him. That's like just a total loser, dude. Yeah, total nepo baby. So basically, Robin Hood. This is more like Hob and Hood. I call it Hob and Hood. They steal from the poor and give to the rich. This Build Back Better bill was the largest transfer of wealth from the poor to the rich in American history. Robin Hood economics has never worked in any. Well, it actually has. I love it when people make these like declarative statements where, like progressive taxes has never worked. And yes, it has. It's worked all over the place. Like, have you looked at any other country, including ours, to make that determination? Where did you get that idea that this has never worked in any country? What president takes 400K salary? It's for the power, right? And sadly, I wish we had a president that needed that salary to live off of. Yeah, Spalding, the guy that wanted the hot dog. You'll get nothing and like it. Smiles said that. Are you, Danny? Are you sure? He's asking Danny if he's sure about the no Robin Hood countries. 400,000 is only 1% of the U.S. GDP, as far as I heard. I don't even think it's 1%. U.S. GDP is 32 trillion. So 1% of that would be 320 billion. Build back better, yeah. And guess what? We built back better. What is the issue with that? If you steal from the rich, nobody's stealing from the rich. Taxes is not stealing. You're like one of those taxes theft things. That's such a dumb thing to say. Yes, because if rich people get taxed, then they're just taxed out of being rich. Like they like no other country in the world has rich people. Only the United States. Yeah, if Elon Musk had a higher taxes, he wouldn't be worth. He wouldn't be rich anymore. It's like, come on. How about have a conversation grounded in reality, dude? You can be rich and still pay more taxes. $2.7 years ago. The rich has millionaire lawyers that will just remove their money around it. Okay. You can still tax rich people. I can't believe this. We actually have a guy that's sitting there arguing that we can't tax rich people. If they move money around, that's called tax evasion. To get billionaire wealth, many people have taken from that money comes from somewhere. Yes. It's like a lot of it comes from the government. Elon Musk, you know what? Elon Musk has gotten more money from the US government than any other individual in the history of the country. He's gotten like $38 billion from the government. If you gave me $38 billion, I might be able to make a successful business or two out of it too. If there are no rich people, how is that worse? Pretty sure rich people are in every country in the world. Yeah, that might be wrong because I searched up what percent is 400,000 to 30.5 trillion in Google and got 1.3% or something like that. Tax the rich. Let's tax the rich. I have no problems taxing the rich. The idea that we can't tax rich people is one that's just completely deprived of any realistic thinking. I believe what you said about Elon Musk. Yeah, it's a fact. He's gotten a lot of money from the government. Comes from the government, aka your taxes. And that's right. I have no problem with my taxes going to feed people. I have taxes. I have problems with my taxes going to bomb children in schools because they happen to be in Iran. Danny says, no, it's not. I don't know what isn't, but I have a feeling Danny doesn't know what he's talking about. With the result, change got 0.00001% now. That sounds about more like it. Like the and it's not even. I mean, this is a guy that made $4.5 billion last year as president. So the $400,000 is 400 million. So 40 million would be 1%. So 4 million would be a tenth. So it's 1/100th of 1% of what Donald Trump made last year just off being president. Trump uses morning tweets to threaten Iran, then tweets were over by afternoon before the close of the stock market. It's to benefit insiders and himself. Yeah, there's some manipulating of the stock market going on. There's no question about that. Now the market is numb to Trump's game, but he got to play it about 5 times. Yeah. How does the rich stay rich? By being rich. You seem to be like under this impression that people are saying we should tax all of the rich people's money, which is not true. You can tax Elon Musk $10 billion and it would not affect anything at all in Elon Musk's life. It would not change anything at all. He could buy the exact same houses, have the exact same cars, have the exact same food, everything. He just has a different number in his checking account. That's it. It doesn't change his life at all. So why can't we just tax rich people the money that they're never going to spend so that poor people can get food from it? I doubt you'll ever answer the question or talk about it in any kind of honest or realistic way. Trump loves propaganda more than Stalin and Kim Jong-un combined, apparently. He does love it. It's 1:30 a.m. here. Good night. Whoa, good night. Dude, why are you staying up so late watching my stream? But thank you. Peace out, Brett says. Bye, Winder. Okay. So Munchkin says, like, I'm pretty sure Elon Musk's net worth is $850 billion right now. I heard it was like half a trillion. I'm not sure exactly. But anyway. I don't see why anyone would care about wealthy person is taxed. They still have more money than God and could never spend it in a lifetime, let alone 10. Yeah, I mean, it's like, I really don't understand why people have objections to the obscenely wealthy getting taxed. Don't you think that we should fix waste, fraud, and abuse before doing? No, I don't. Because first of all, we keep doing that, right? Like, people act like there's nothing there to measure fraud, waste, and abuse. Like, we're already doing that. So, like, this is just a whataboutism. Secondly, children still need to eat. Like, why do you have an objection to feeding children with taxpayer money? Why not? And if you want to talk about fraud, waste, and abuse, why is it always how the poor people get money? What about the fraud, waste, and abuse from the Trump administration? Donald Trump flew 2 Apache helicopters to say hi to Kid Rock. Our taxes paid money for that. How is that not fraud, waste, and abuse? That seems pretty wasteful to me. Let me guess, a mother with 5 kids getting $200 in SNAP is waste, fraud, and abuse. Like the real fraud, waste, and abuse is something we don't look at. It's just, this person got, sold a SNAP card. Therefore, we have to deny everybody SNAP benefits. $500 billion might be 2025 stats. Well, it depends on the stock market. I have a feeling he will end up being the first trillionaire. So, he's at $832 billion to $852 billion because of the rising value of SpaceX. So yeah, you could afford, like he could afford to pay a little bit in taxes. Actually, I think tomorrow I'm going to do that. I think, like I've heard a few stupid things about, Anyway, I think I want to do this. I think tomorrow I'm going to do the episode on why progressive taxes are necessary. Like, why do we do progressive taxes? We need to feed the poor, tax the rich, feed the poor. Exactly. I have diarrhea. I'm sorry. Got 2 words for you. Imodium AD. But you know what? This is funny. I was like, so when I go shopping, I'll like have MSNBC streaming on my headphones, and so they were playing the commercial, and that Pepto Bismol commercial, and where the upset stomach, diarrhea, like that one. So I'm like shopping, and I'm like listening to the radio, and I always sing along with diarrhea, like when I'm at home, because it's just so funny the way they pelt it out and everything. And so I almost did that in the middle of the store. I almost just yelled out diarrhea, but I'm glad I didn't. We can't feed hungry kids and families. Billionaires need new brass balls for their yachts. Yes, I mean, we need to keep our priorities straight. Elon definitely will be the first billionaire. That's like $600 billion above second place. Larry Page with about $250 billion. 20 years of welfare is a personal issue. It's also a made up thing. You can't be on welfare for 20 years. Billionaires need money to buy wine and caviar. So, Danny, why do you have to make stuff up instead of having an actual conversation? I'd like to ask you that. This is your brain on MAGA. You just have to make up stuff instead of have an honest argument. So anyway, yeah, at least we got a show out today. I'm gonna go ahead and stop here. I think tomorrow I'll do a show on whatchamacallit, progressive taxes. We got some billionaires need money to buy wine and caviar. How did MAGA be trained to hate poor Americans getting a few government dollars over billionaires getting billions of government dollars? Elon is a super welfare queen because maggots are idiots. I mean, just 40 years of trickle down economics, and the rich people the don't have enough money to create jobs because the poor people are hogging it all. That mentality is just been infused into people for 40 some years now, and it doesn't make any sense. All right, is the millionaire's fault? Well, it's not about fault there. It's about who can afford to pay for it. I mean, anyway, I'm going to do feel free to stop by tomorrow, Danny. I have decided based on your comments here, tomorrow is going to be on why do we have progressive taxes. But I think we're going to end here. And I hope you guys have a good day. I'm going to be back at the regular time of 2 o'clock tomorrow. Hope you have a great day. And thanks for sticking with me today, Brett. And have a good move tomorrow.